Capricorns, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is going to be for February 22nd through the 28th of 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology, very different from mainstream astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to click the link for more information. All right, Capricorn, so this week we've got a full moon right on Monday, starting off the week, and this is in your 8th house of everything deep, everything meaningful to you in life. It's the house of transformation. It's the house of intimacy. Really being open and just deep in our relationships, but primarily with ourself. This is where it all starts, is having that openness with self, transparency with self, diving deep. And in that way, we go through this sort of awareness about the really meaningful aspects of life. This axis, the 2nd and the 8th, is all about what really matters. And the 8th, it's specifically about, the deeper side of it. So this full moon is going to be opposing up to Neptune, which is suggesting that it is a very spiritual full moon, in fact. And this is really pulling on the fact that the faith and trust that's been needed for you along your life journey has been with your values in life. Now, this might be on a more mundane level, maybe the finances, having faith and trust with that, having faith and trust that everything is just sort of provided for. This is a lot like the Earth house. It's what's provided from Earth, but even more so what your capabilities are of providing for yourself. This is the house of self-reliance. So there's been a lot of that, Neptunian spiritualization that's been coming into the picture, really helping you have more faith and trust in those areas. And so I think that's going to be pulled on this early part of the week with this full moon. So while there's this deeper understanding about self, there's also this importance of understanding this, simpler peace that can be had around the material or more tangible values of your life, and really seeing them as one and the same thing. You can have that tangible enjoyment of what really matters to you in life, and you can have that deeper enjoyment of the more tangible aspects. Right? And there's this, interesting side of it too in terms of relationships. Like, this is your own self-reliance, and this is having healthy dependency on others, healthy codependency. Again, that vulnerability and stuff. So it's great to reflect on this with the full moon, and it's good this early part of the week to just implement it, especially because, all full moons, it's a high point, there's a higher energy. And this could also be something specifically that's been maybe in the works the past 6 months involving these deeper aspects about transformation and healing and all of this that could now be coming into light. So at the very least, all of you, though, are going to have this awareness of the deeper side of the self and of life in general. And so that can be something that you can apply through having that deeper connection to whatever it is you're involved with in the everyday sphere. And again, having faith and trust that everything in the material side is, of course, unfolding in that divine timing. Now, that's going to be quite insightful. It's a very insightful week, in fact. Here on Tuesday, we do have Jupiter opposing up to Chiron. So with this one, there's the healing that's been taking place since early November with that view. It's actually been quite expansive and actually quite optimistic, this transformation stuff, or this healing and this deeper stuff of life with Jupiter, in your 8th house. Jupiter tends to magnify and just helps us have a greater philosophical and top-down understanding of that area, that transformed understanding. So with this, though, with the healing, it's healing your view of life, your view of beginnings and endings, life and death, changes, and what's possible in the future in terms of change. So it's good to go within. Jupiter is retrograde to reflect on this type of avenue, the perspectives, and naturally the healing does take place very naturally. And then on Tuesday, it could be that shift where maybe it's, wisdom, information. It's probably more internal, but there's that shift, and it could be a rejuvenation that feels like you've healed or you've taken a new direction with it that then gets implemented as you go into this week and really into the coming months as we approach that 3rd aspect with this aspect. So that's going to be the early part along with that full moon. Then here around Wednesday and Thursday, we do have Mercury sextiling up to your ruler. So you guys could be feeling quite mercurial, quite communicative. Maybe, in fact, you may have already been feeling this because Mercury is in your 1st house. So maybe more of that, talkative, communicative, wanting to learn, read, write, that kind of stuff. And that can be very good this week because your ruler will be in harmonious aspect up to it. So it can be very grounding. It's really assisting you too with a lot of the things that you might be actualizing with your ideals or dreams or community stuff with your ruler in that 11th house. And let's not forget Venus is in your first house too. So there's that enjoyment of really being yourself and maybe sprucing up the self-image and enjoying those relationships in the process. Now, a bit later here on Friday, Mercury is going to be sextiling up to Uranus, so there is that freeing energy. In fact, this can be quite freeing with you, with your individuality, with your true self, with your self-image perhaps. So that's quite nice. I think really just being open to trying new things, be open to learning new things around Friday can be a nice energy to work with. And then as we approach the weekend, the sun is going to go over Neptune. All right, so this is again more insight. This is more on the spiritual side of it. So here there's this insight that usually comes in from the, what you might call the crown chakra. Just kind of comes in, and it's meant to be sort of acknowledged in the present moment. So it's still a high point of the chart, so it's still good to implement it. But if you are feeling maybe that spiritual activity, maybe doing some healthy reflection, some healthy meditation, some healthy alone time, that can be good to allow this insight and again this sort of presence and faith to come in along this journey of what's being cultivated right now for you in terms of these values of your life. All right, Capricorn, so have a great week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week.